Having a baby changed my life completely. I'm the youngest in my family, so I was always used to being taken care of. But when I had my son, I knew everything would be different. Still, I wasn't expecting how difficult motherhood would start out. Hi, I'm Gwen, and at 26 I had my first child. My son, Heath, meant everything to me and my husband, Hugh. From the moment I heard Heath cry in the hospital, I knew I wanted to dedicate my life to him. That's what parents do, right? But things don't always go as planned. This is where Hugh's mom, Trish, comes in. She had recently gotten divorced and came to stay with us. She wasn't in a great mental state and had nowhere else to go. This was her second divorce, first with Hugh's dad, and now her ex-husband, whom she married soon after Hugh was born. When I married Hugh, I found out Trish had just had another child, which was surprising at her age. But her marriage fell apart again, and she lost custody of the child because she wasn't in a good mental state. When we brought Heath home from the hospital, Trish was thrilled. She spent hours just staring at him in awe. While I was glad she was around, I also felt she missed the daughter she wouldn't see grow up. Trish was so excited when I told her we named the baby Heath. She loved the name and asked to hold him. I trusted her because she had handled more babies than I had. Hugh and I smiled as she played with Heath, but then he started crying. I thought he was hungry, so I asked for him back. Trish insisted he wasn't hungry and just wanted attention. She kept playing with him even though he was crying louder. I looked at Hugh for help, and he gently suggested Trish let me take care of Heath. But Trish didn't listen and shook the baby lightly, which made me nervous. I finally managed to take Heath from her, even though she tried to hold on. This was just the beginning of her strange behavior. Trish would play with Heath even when he was sleeping, waking him up just when I had finally calmed him down. She never took responsibility for his crying, just laying him in the cradle and walking away as if he'd stop on his own. She insisted that babies only want attention and that feeding them should come later. I tried to explain that Heath was just a few weeks old and needed regular feeding and sleep, but she dismissed me, saying new mothers think they know everything. Trish continued to ignore Heath's needs, treating him like a toy to play with when it suited her. I decided to talk to Hugh about it, but he wasn't happy with how I was talking about his mom. He hadn't seen much of her behavior since he was usually at work. While I was on unpaid maternity leave, I really wished I could have had a paid one, but my employers weren't very kind. I had already used up my 12 weeks of paid leave, and now I was going over that time. Hugh had to work overtime because of this and didn't get much time at home. Look, can you please try to get along with my mom? She's been through a lot, and that's probably why she wants to bond with Heath, Hugh said. I do get along with your mom as long as she's not acting weird around our baby. Do you know last night I woke up to him crying, and she was just standing over his cradle, staring at him. It was terrifying, I replied. She said she wanted to play with him, but didn't because she knew he wouldn't be okay with it. She was just standing there looking. It was scary, I added. I know she can be a bit strange, but that doesn't mean she'll hurt him. Just be nice and persuasive and she'll soften up. She's easygoing like that, soft-hearted like you. Hugh tried to reassure me. I really don't know about this, I said, worried. Heath was too young for a nanny, and I couldn't take him to work when I went back. I was a barista at a local cafe and I wasn't sure how long I could stay off work. With only Hugh working, we were just making ends meet, and I was concerned about the future. At first, I liked the idea of letting Trish take care of Heath while I was away, but now I realized that might not be a good idea. The other day, I was trying to get Heath to sleep when I heard loud noises from my room. I peeked in and saw Trish stomping around, looking like she was deep in thought. When she noticed me, I quickly looked away, but she swung the door open. Do you think I should talk to my lawyer again? She asked abruptly. Talk to your lawyer? About what? I asked, confused. About my baby. Like the one you have. I think I can get her back if I try really hard. Maybe I could file a lawsuit against Tony and prove he's not a reliable person for her to grow up with, she said. Tony was her ex who had custody of their child. I felt sorry for Trish. She was clearly in a bad mental state, but I had to warn her about the consequences of her actions. Trish, that's a long shot. Even if you prove Tony can't raise the child, you won't get her back. They'll say both parents are unfit, and she'll go through the foster care system until she turns 18, I explained. But then I can adopt her as soon as she's put up for adoption. You can keep Heath, and I'll get my baby. Everyone will be happy, Trish said. Trish, no offense, but you're starting to sound like you're losing your mind. You need to relax and let go of this. You need help, I said gently. Are you calling me crazy? Me, the mother of your husband? Do you know what I've done to raise him, the sacrifices I've made? And now you want to take this baby away from me? He's my baby too, she shouted. Since when are we talking about Keith? If you want your child back, the only way is to be real and legal. Maybe you should get some help and then prove you can have joint custody, I said. Don't lecture me, you're just a barista who caught my son's eye. You're no one, and you won't make a good mom. Not like me anyway, Trish snapped. What's with you? Where are you going with all this? We let you stay in our home because you had nowhere else to go, and this is how you treat me. I'm sorry life hasn't been great for you, but lashing out at me won't help, I said, trying to stay calm. Shut up, I'm leaving, she screamed, coming dangerously close to me before storming out. I was scared that Trish might hurt me or Heath, but thankfully she didn't. Losing custody of her child had clearly messed with her mind, and things were getting worse. Hugh didn't even listen to me. When I told him what happened, he got mad at me for letting Trish go out on her own when she wasn't thinking straight. He didn't believe me when I told him she was fixated on the whole baby thing. Later, Trish came back home and said she'd been sitting on a park bench all day, even though it had only been a few hours since she left. She quickly apologized to me and then went to take a nap in my room. Later she asked if she could help put Heath to sleep, but I was cautious this time. I wasn't about to let her handle the baby without supervision. Things didn't get easier after that. There came a point where I knew I'd need to ask Trish to leave for good. Things really took a turn one day when we were taking care of a sleeping Heath. How much does it cost to take care of a baby these days? Trish asked. Oh well, the diapers, other supplies, and baby-proofing the house add up. Maybe around $100 a month if you're lucky, and even more when the baby starts crawling or walking, I replied. Just wondering. If you have something on your mind you can tell me, I added. Oh, of nothing. It didn't used to be so expensive back when I had Hugh. But I'd still have the baby, no hesitation. They're complete angels until they start crying. But yes, I get it. I'd give anything for little Heath. So would I, Gwen. So would I. I'd be willing to give up anything for our baby, Trish said. Our baby? The way she said it felt oddly uncomfortable, but I didn't pay much attention to it. Days passed quickly. Trish started going out regularly every evening around 5 o'clock, all dressed up with her purse. There was no way she had started seeing someone new at her age, so I figured she was just going for walks, trying to feel better. Honestly, we were supportive of her trying to improve. She also began acting more normal with Heath. She didn't act weirdly, would hand me the baby whenever he cried, and even helped make his food and buy diapers occasionally. I was relieved that she seemed to be feeling better and more like herself. I even considered leaving Heath with her when I went back to work soon. But then one day I overheard her while she was playing with him in the living room. I'd been exhausted from taking care of him all day and was trying to drift off to sleep. A while later, I heard Heath crying, which woke me up. As soon as I got up, he became quiet. Then I heard Trish say, "That's a good boy, that's a good baby. You're mine, okay? You're my baby and Mom is going to take real good care of you. We're going to fly away to a nice place where you'll have lots of toys to play with. Don't you want that?" I wondered how much of what she said was serious and how much was just play. She had definitely managed to calm Heath down. When I got to my senses, I realized his cradle had been moved from my room. The cradle wasn't very heavy, but it was odd that she moved it without waking me up. When I walked into the living room, my heart skipped a beat. The cradle had been modified, and she'd hung large Christmas balls on top to entertain the baby. It looked pretty, but the problem was the balls were made of glass and could have fallen on his face at any moment. I quickly picked Heath up. "What are you doing? He's enjoying it," Trish said. "Trish, where did you get these Christmas balls from?" "I found them in your storeroom." "I thought he'd enjoy them," she replied. "Trish, those are really heavy. They may not seem dangerous to us, but for the baby they are. How did you tie them up there? They could fall on him any moment. Hey, what's with all the accusing?" I got the baby to be quiet and you're still not happy with me, Trish said, sounding defensive. I appreciate that you got him to be quiet. I really do. I'm so happy you're getting along with him, but these balls are dangerous. The old plastic toy on the cradle wouldn't hurt him if it ever fell. How did you even get it down? I thought it was attached. Oh, I gripped it off. Didn't take much. I think this looks so much prettier. I don't see the problem. I understand, but please, let's take it off, okay? It could hurt him. Trish made a face but pulled the Christmas balls down. As soon as she touched them, 2 of them fell straight into the cradle and left dents in the bedding. That could have been where my child was lying. I saw that her intentions were good, but the way she went about things wasn't okay. She left the living room and ran into my room to sleep. Afterward, she began distancing herself from me. Every morning, she'd go out and not come back for hours. Whenever I asked where she was going, she'd just say, "The post office." Trish kept saying she was going to the post office, but it was too far for her to be gone all day. She also started whispering strange things to Heath, and she'd smile at me in a weird way. I was getting uncomfortable, so I'd talk to Hugh again. "She's trying to get better. Why aren't you being supportive?" Hugh said. But she still acts strangely around Heath. She keeps telling him he's her baby and says her own name over and over so he'll say it first. You know about the Christmas balls incident, and I'm really concerned. You're overthinking this. She's taking care of our baby. Yes, the Christmas balls were a mistake, but you handled it, and she won't do it again. And you need to help her get to the post office if that's where she's going. Hugh, she's obviously not going to the post office every day. Why would she? Because she used to work there and has friends there. Maybe she got a part-time job. Then why wouldn't she tell us about it? I don't know, okay? Just relax and stop keeping an eye on my mom. She's innocent, there's no need to accuse her. That was it, I lost it. Hugh refused to believe me no matter what I said. With my return to work approaching, I decided to take matters into my own hands. I bought a baby monitor and secretly installed it in the wall so no one would notice it. When I started working again, Trish stayed home most days. Everything seemed normal. She'd take Keith to play and then put him back to sleep. Since I was only working part-time, I was always home before it got too late. But one day, I heard something on the baby monitor that made my heart sink. "Oh, we're going to fly away, Heath, you and me. Mama has been working so hard at school, teaching little kids like you'll be someday. Oh, Mama has so many plans once she runs away with you," Trish said. I heard Heath giggle as she picked him up and spun around the room. "My baby, oh little baby, do you like spinning? Do you like it? Of course you do. We're going to go far away from your little cradle. I'll get you a new one with big shiny balls on it, and you'll have a pretty mom, unlike your mom, and we'll make Daddy run away too. Yes, we will." What was going on? I was horrified. She continued spinning around the room with Heath, but when she finally sat down, Heath started crying. She placed him on the edge of the bed and held her head like she was dizzy. I panicked, thinking Heath might fall, but she picked him up just in time and put him back in his cradle. "You keep crying, and I'm not giving you any more attention. In my house, you'll learn discipline from the get-go. Children these days, I swear to God," she said and slammed the door. I was deeply concerned. I recorded the footage and considered sending it to Hugh, but I wanted to make sure I wasn't overreacting. That day, I went home early, worried about my child. Trish opened the door, looking worn out and tired. She yawned and went straight to sleep without saying a word. I rushed to my room, quickly fed Heath, and calmed him down. Once he was asleep, I locked the room from the inside and started searching. Trish always carried a big red purse whenever she went out, and I needed to find it. After searching my room for almost an hour, I found nothing. Then I noticed it hanging from the coat rack. I grabbed it as quietly as possible, and when I looked inside, I was shocked. She had a teacher's ID card for a school and a plane ticket scheduled for the day after tomorrow. She had been planning to run away with my child. I kept the ticket and ID card to myself and sent the video to Hugh, asking him to come home as soon as possible. "This can't be real. Oh, for God's sake, you still think I'm overreacting?" I asked when Hugh saw the footage and held the ticket and ID card in his hand. Hugh was speechless. He realized Trish had been working for months to arrange all this. She clearly needed help. We decided to call Hugh's dad, Jonah. Jonah quickly picked up the call. When Hugh told him what was happening, Jonah was saddened but agreed that Trish needed to be removed from the house. He suggested we consider a retirement home for her. Do you think she should go to a retirement home? Hugh asked. That's what I'd do. But I think she needs psychiatric care first, Jonah replied. So you want her out of the house for good? Hugh confirmed. Yes, please, I said. Okay, I'll come over to talk to her in person. Let's get started, Jonah agreed. Jonah had been around when Heath was born, and he and Trish would often argue over small things, but he came over anyway. Hugh and Jonah talked to Trish, and there was a lot of crying and yelling. He's my baby, Trish screamed. No, he's my son. Trish, you need to get out of here before we have to forcefully remove you, Hugh said. Oh, I'd like to see you try, Trish shot back. By then, I'd lost my patience. Trish had done so much to upset me that I wanted her out of our lives for good. You will never set foot in this house again. Just go away and keep your hands off my son. Enough. Both of you. Jonah intervened. Mom, please don't make this complicated. Come with us. The fighting continued for a while, but I finally decided to let her go into a retirement home for good. The people at the nursing home said they'd provide her with some psychological help as well. I didn't care anymore. I tore up the plane ticket in front of her and called the school where she worked to ensure she wouldn't be allowed near any kids again. Maybe I went too far in my anger, but it was all necessary.